I'm an English teacher. I'm involved with teaching English and English literature, and we look at the heritage, we look at the history of all these writers. And the one thing that has totally escaped me, escaped my teachers, my colleagues, every school I've ever been at throughout my studies is the impact of Islam, the impact of Muslim scholars. Now, if we look at English language, there are so many words. There are words like the word admiral, words like arsenal, barbican, crimson, the word hazard. It comes from Arabic influences. And if I could just give an example, everybody, all children, we all know the story about Robinson Crusoe. Now this story, I've taught this story, and to many children I was totally unaware until I read this book that this was actually written by an Islamic scholar by the name of Hayy ibn Yaqzan, and he actually based this book on somebody who is lost in a desert or in an island completely on his own, and he wanted to highlight the fact that somebody can still, that person will still turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that story is pretty much completely copied by a very famous English writer, Daniel Defoe, completely, but the fact of the matter is there's no acknowledgement there, there's no, but at the end of the day, this book, alhamdulillah, will raise that awareness of the great impact of Islam. I think we need to bring this book to every school, to every hospital, to every library, to really understand our heritage, so that in fact non-Muslims can understand that without this wealth of heritage they wouldn't have some of the things or some of the books that are available today. Here we have, there's this, actually if you look at the beginning of it, this is just some of the words that are there because of Islamic influence. Okay, if we turn over, okay, here we have another section on the story corner, and this gives us a lot of insight into some of the very famous stories. As I mentioned, Robinson Crusoe was one of them. I understand that even Shakespeare had influence, and Charles Dickens, so many writers have had the influence of Islam. So I think that this book would be essential in the classroom. We have a wealth of heritage here, and I think young people in this country, they are taught so much in history, but they are taught, and some of them even are taught about Islam, but I think there's so much work to be done in the area of understanding our heritage, what has been done in the past, and how that is affecting us, every single person's life today in the whole world. It's a global thing. There are so many things that we need to be aware of, and we can feel proud of our heritage because this is the backbone of our identity. For a start, I would like to implement this somehow into my lesson plans, into my schemes of work. So I teach GCSE and A-level, and for example, the Daniel Defoe, the author that I've just mentioned before, I teach that author. I'll be able to implement that, and help to educate young people, whether Muslim and non-Muslim, about Islamic heritage. I think this can be used as a very effective tool by parents. I think parents can, this is really great bedtime reading, for example. I'm constantly encouraging my students to read. And I feel that a lot of the literature they find, even if it doesn't seem to focus on what their heritage is, we have to go back to that. And I feel that this book is an excellent resource for parents. Parents can sit down, they can talk, and they can educate themselves, because I think we ourselves don't know what our legacy is. Yes, the pack can be ordered on the internet. I've actually browsed through the teacher pack, and I feel that it's an excellent resource for, or if any of the teachers watching the program out there, I think that the pack should be ordered. Or if there's parents watching there, please either order the pack yourselves, or contact teachers. Your children will be able to put you in the way of talking to teachers and so on, and try and, I think that I've not come across any other piece of literature like this. I think all aspects are highly impressive, because one of the things that's very interesting about this book is that it takes you through almost, if you look at, if I just focus this on, if we just focus in on the chapters, for example, it goes into the home, the school, the market, the hospital, the town, the world, the universe. Now, it starts local and it goes out, it goes global, and it just shows, I think that in itself shows that Islam has impacted on us, it's almost moved out in a concentric circle. It's moved out and it's gone global. And that is that in itself, what our heritage is, what people, the inventions that they left behind, have become a global phenomenon. And it started local, and it's permeated throughout our life. You know, people talk about, you know, being it's a way of life, but how? And I think this book helps you to understand that.
Thank you.